Moses' final words are spoken as he approaches death, after leading the Israelites out of Egypt and through 40 years in the wilderness. Deuteronomy presents these words as speeches, blessings, and a song, directed to Israel on the verge of the Promised Land. In Hebrew thought, words are not just ideas, but active, powerful forces that shape reality. For instance, in Genesis 1, Yahweh's spoken word brings creation into existence. Moses' words are therefore a dynamic act, binding the people to their covenant with Yahweh and shaping their future. In Hebrew thought, his words are not just rhetoric, but a tangible transfer of divine instruction, meant to be lived out physically and communally by Israel.
Key passages of Moses' final words include Deuteronomy 31, where Moses encourages Israel and Joshua, affirming Yahweh's presence, Deuteronomy 32, which contains the Song of Moses, a poetic testimony to Yahweh's faithfulness and Israel's rebellion, Deuteronomy 33, where Moses' blessing on the tribes invokes divine protection and prosperity, and Deuteronomy 34, Moses' death with a final glimpse of the Promised Land.
Moses left a legacy of faith, of trusting Yahweh's presence. Moses revealed faith is a tangible trust expressed through action and loyalty to the covenant, not an abstract belief. His final words emphasize Yahweh's active presence as the foundation of Israel's identity. In Deuteronomy 31, verse 6, Moses declares, "Be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread of them, for it is Yahweh your God who goes with you. He will not leave you or forsake you."
Moses reminded them that Yahweh is not a distant God, but an active partner, like a shepherd or warrior leading his people. This is emphasized in Deuteronomy 31, verse 8, where Moses assures Joshua of Yahweh's leadership before you and with you.
Faith, as revealed by Moses, is relational loyalty. He reminded Israel of their covenant with Yahweh, which is based on his past acts of deliverance from Egypt, providing manna and giving the Torah. In Moses' call for strength and courage, he reminded them that faith is inseparable from action, such as observing the commandments, precepts, and instructions, walking in Yahweh's ways, and trusting in his provision.
Moses' legacy of faith was a call to live in active reliance on Yahweh's tangible presence, demonstrated through obedience and communal fidelity to the covenant.
Moses left a legacy of courage, reminding them to face the future with strength and a communal resolve to act in line with Yahweh's wishes, despite obstacles. Moses' repeated call to be strong and courageous in Deuteronomy 31 verses 6, 7, and 23 is aimed at a people confronting real challenges from hostile nations, entering a new land, and facing the temptation of idolatry. He spoke of a readiness to march into Canaan, fight battles, and uphold the covenant in faith.
Moses reminded them that courage is possible because Yahweh fights for Israel, referencing Deuteronomy 20, verse 4. His words recall tangible victories, like the defeat of Pharaoh or the Amalekites in Exodus 17, where Yahweh's intervention was evident. This history provides a foundation for the command to act boldly.
Notice that Moses addresses all Israel in Deuteronomy 31, verse 1, emphasizing that the nation, not just individuals, must embody strength. This reflects the Torah's view of community as a single body united under Yahweh's leadership.
Moses' legacy of courage equipped Israel to face the tangible challenges of conquest and settlement, trusting in Yahweh's active involvement.
In Deuteronomy 31 to 34, Moses' final words center on Yahweh's covenantal promises, particularly the gift of the land. In Torah teachings, promises are binding commitments, often sealed with physical signs, such as circumcision and the observance of the Sabbath. The land, a physical place flowing with milk and honey, symbolizing abundance and rest, is the concrete fulfillment of Yahweh's oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, as referred to in Deuteronomy 1 verse 8.
Moses' blessing in Deuteronomy 33 invokes specific blessings for each tribe: fertile fields, vigorous offspring, and victory, which were tied to their inheritance in Canaan. His final glimpse of the land in Deuteronomy 34:1-4 is a poignant reminder that Yahweh's promises endure, even though Moses himself will not enter.
The Song of Moses in Deuteronomy 32 is a poetic testimony that uses vivid imagery of rock, fire, and arrows to depict Yahweh's faithfulness and Israel's tendency to rebel. In Hebrew thought, a rock, antur, signifies stability and refuge, contrasting with Israel's unfaithfulness. The song is a concrete tool meant to be memorized and sung, embedding the promise and warning in Israel's collective memory.
Moses reminded Israel that the promise of the land comes with the obligation to obey the Torah, as stated in Deuteronomy 31:9-13. In the Torah teachings, blessings and curses are tangible outcomes of covenant fidelity or infidelity, as described in Deuteronomy 28. The public reading of the Torah, commanded by Moses, ensures the promise remains a living reality.
Moses' words anchor Israel in the concrete reality of Yahweh's promise, a land to inhabit, a covenant to keep, and a God who acts in history.
Moses' final words in Deuteronomy 31-34 serve as a legacy of faith, courage, and covenantal promise, rooted in ancient Hebrew concrete thought. They are not just a farewell speech in the modern sense, but a dynamic act, spoken, sung, and lived to shape Israel's identity as Yahweh's people. Faith is trust in Yahweh's tangible presence. Courage is collective resolve to act, and the promises are embodied in the land and Torah. By grounding his words in vivid imagery, historical memory, and covenantal obligation, Moses ensures that Israel maintains a living relationship with Yahweh, reflected in their daily life and shared destiny.
Ancient Hebrew thought eschews Greek abstractions, such as timeless truths or universal principles. Instead, it uses sensory language. Moses' words are vivid: rocks, fire, land, walking, engaging the senses to make divine truths tangible. Functional focus. Every command or promise serves a purpose: to bind Israel to Yahweh, ensure survival in the land, and maintain covenantal identity. Relational framework. Yahweh is not a distant concept, but a living God who walks, fights, and speaks. Moses' role as mediator makes this relationship concrete. Communal orientation. The legacy is for all Israel, not individuals, reflecting the Hebrew view of the nation as a unified entity under Yahweh.
Greek philosophy, with its emphasis on abstract concepts like essence, soul, or universal truth, is absent from Moses' words. Later influences, such as Christian theological lenses or Hellenistic dualism, might interpret his words as spiritual metaphors or individualistic exhortations. In contrast, the Hebrew perspective sees them as immediate, physical, and communal. Faith is walking with Yahweh, not intellectual assent. Courage is marching into battle, not overcoming inner fear. Promises are land, offspring, and blessing, not eschatological ideals.
If you listeners have areas of interest you'd like to explore further, questions or comments, please don't hesitate to let us know.